It's Wednesday, December 26th. You're listening to the Day Weather Podcast. Thanks for listening. Well, folks, lots to talk about. As you know, if you've been listening to this podcast, we have been perplexed by the real problems we have seen with the weather forecast for the weekend following Christmas, as we've had conflicting signals for the last 2 weeks on how the weather pattern was going to evolve right after Christmas and into the new year. A lot of the things that would indicate a trend towards more cold, more wintry weather was showing up with just the basic weather patterns, just the basic things that you look for with the jet stream, solar activity, where the water temperatures are out in the Pacific Ocean. A lot of indications suggested that we should be headed towards some big changes, but the computer modeling was suggesting that we really weren't going to see much of anything. But over the last 24 hours, there's been a big shift in the analysis. The computer modeling now appears to be adjusting to what should be happening with reality, and that is a merger of two storms. Yesterday, we talked about two different scenarios. One scenario, a main storm coming out of California, then swinging into the Midwest, basically not getting organized until it's well north and east of the Rockies, with another system dropping south out of Canada, and those two basically become separated. The other scenario was for the two storms to merge and to come together. Well, the latter scenario is what's going to happen. It's a good analogy to use gas and matches. When you have gasoline and matches, you know what happens when you put the two together. That storm that's in Southern California is basically the gas. The matches is that weather system diving south out of British Columbia. You have a warmer, relatively warm, moist California storm coming inland. You have a shot of Arctic air, very cold energetic air with that system in British Columbia. And when you take cold Canadian air, you put it with energetic Pacific moisture, you're going to have, well, you're going to put the gas and matches together. And what we're going to see is a rapid intensification of a storm over eastern Colorado Friday night and Saturday. Now, there is still, and I mean still, a lot of disagreement on where the snow is going to fall, where the wind's going to blow the hardest, and where the impacts will be the worst. We are confident to tell you, though, that there will be a major winter storm. The hard part is placing the worst weather and where it's going to be and the timing. But there is going to be wind, snow, sharply colder temperatures, and extremely poor and dangerous travel developing across portions of Nebraska, South Dakota, portions of Colorado, portions of Kansas, and portions of eastern Wyoming. Now, the amounts of snow, by our standards here in the West, don't look terribly impressive. You usually don't get big snow, at least in terms of inches on the plains in the month of December. It just tends to be a situation, the time of year, where not a lot of water is available in the atmosphere for big snow dumps. But what we're going to have is we're going to have the combination of a big drop in temperature, strong winds, and just enough snow to really make things icy and cause some problems. The amounts of snow will be something that we'll talk about in our update tomorrow morning. But we are going to tell you that there will be enough snow and wind and enough in a drop of temperature to make for very poor travel late Friday night through all of Saturday in the following areas in the interstates. I-80 in southeastern Wyoming from west of Laramie to the Nebraska border. Then Interstate 80 probably through most of Nebraska, at least 3/4 of it. Interstate 90, Saturday night and Sunday in South Dakota will be heavily impacted. Interstate 76 in northeastern Colorado will be heavily impacted, as well as Interstate 70 in far eastern Colorado and northwest Kansas. Those are the areas, as well as I-25 in southeastern Wyoming, that will see snow, blowing snow, icy conditions, and strong winds as the storm rapidly comes together late Friday night and Saturday. I think it's the combination of just a bit of snow with a lot of wind and some flash freezing, a big drop in temperature is what's going to cause most of the problems with roads and highways. So you don't want to think about this storm so much as a storm system that causes a lot of snowfall, but it's a combination of the new snow, the cold, and the wind that's going to make holiday travel not fun at all. across those areas I just mentioned. If you have the opportunity to get your holiday travel in today, you're just going to encounter some snow shower activity over parts of Wyoming, parts of western South Dakota and Nebraska, and the mountains of Colorado, but nothing serious. Friday is a really good day to get out. Friday is a day where travel conditions across the region will be in fairly good shape. But it all goes downhill late Friday night, Saturday, and I think even into Sunday, the wind is going to cause blowing snow problems on Sunday, even though most of the snow will be done. On the backside of the storm, a cold northwest wind aloft will develop, which will produce significant snow in the mountains and cause wind on the plains and occasional snow showers. So all of a sudden, after what has been a very mild stretch of weather, things are about ready to go through some big changes. Thanks for listening to the Day Weather Podcast. We'll update you tomorrow.